films.
What was your meeting with Steven like, and what kind of input has he given you in bringing the world to life?
Well, my first meeting with him was just actually meeting Steven Spielberg and talking for like 45 minutes about the project and him deciding to hire me. And then I had to go back and show him on my laptop like what I was going to do, all the art, the design and everything. And going up to see Spielberg with your dinosaurs and your vehicles and your weapons and your everything that you've been working on for weeks is just a sickening thing to have to do as a director, because it's like going to God with your work. And he was great. It's fascinating. He riffs with ideas like comedians do with jokes. And he's reactive and helpful and supportive and very just what you would hope. And it was a blast.
And did you guys get to meet him as part of this?
We did. We went for burgers, and then we watched his whole back catalogue of films together in my living room. It was fantastic.
Awesome. No, I didn't. No, you didn't.
But I am available if he would like to do that.
Do you feel like you got ripped off in this deal or something?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
You guys shot in Australia. You shot the pilot in Australia. Can you talk a little bit about that? Did you guys go off into the jungles of Australia and shoot this, and what kind of stories?
Well, it's great pleasure shooting in Australia. For one thing, they like us over there. And we've all shot in places where they don't like us very much, so it's good to be there. But they have a long and storied history in terms of making films there. So the crews you get there are just really cherry. The environment itself is very, very beautiful, which is the main reason we go there in the first place. Where we are in the Gold Coast, we're in proximity to all kinds of a number of different self-contained ecosystems, which lend themselves very beautifully to this sort of primal world that we're inhabiting. It's a long ways away, which is, it's kind of good and bad. I mean, it's hard to go away from home, but then again, that does contribute to the whole sense of what we're doing with the show, in a way, doesn't it? So I think that's to the good, and it's a very, 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 very livable place, it seems to me.
Did Alex? Can you talk a little bit about, from your perspective of a shooting? Was the environment friendly, conducive to that? Was it did it provide some challenges?
It was both. I mean, I'll start with the positive. I mean, we had a fantastic Australian crew, and we're just crazy about the Australians, just to second that. And then, one of the high points for me was I'd been down there for months, and the cast got down there about a couple of days before we started shooting, and every day on Terra Nova, instead of coming to stage 12 on the lot to shoot your scene, like I'd watch, I even would videotape them sometimes, the cast being driven into this incredible environment, and they'd get out, and just be like, I'm in the show, like I'm in the Cretaceous period. And I just got such a kick out of that, because it was like you were on location in Terra Nova filming the show, and you just don't get that very much in television.
We built the town.
Yeah, I mean, we built Terra Nova in the middle of this valley in Australia, and then, the Gold Coast is surrounded by a lot of these national parks and rainforests, and, the downside is that, in the middle of rehearsal, I would take a leech off of an actress's foot. We would have so much rain that there would be a flood, and we would have to build a bridge to get back to Terra Nova, or little things like that. But it was an adventure, and it was a great bonding experience. It really made us all a family, and that was really good for the show.
And then it rained.
And rained.
And then rained some more.
It rained some more. And we thought we had seen all the really bad rain during, of course, totally narcissistically going, oh, it rained while we were filming, poor us, and then we left, and then the real rains hit, and they had the inland tsunamis over Christmas and everything. So we actually got off lucky.
This is going to be the last question from me, and then I'm going to open up the floor to you guys. The show, the premiere was originally supposed to be broadcast here in the spring, and recently was decided to move it to the fall. Brandon, can you talk a little bit about that decision? Why did you guys ultimately decide to launch the show in the fall instead of this year, this season?
Well,
we were hoping to have a sneak peek or preview of the first couple of episodes in May, and the bottom line is we're not confident we were going to have the visual effects done in time, well enough in time. There are hundreds and hundreds of visual effects shots. I don't know where it ranks in the history of television pilots, but if it's not up there, it certainly it might even take the cake, and we just couldn't make it in time. And we will in plenty of time for September, but it's an overwhelming amount of work, and it's really boils down to that.
It also goes into like an interesting story behind Terra Nova, which is that, I mean, initially the show had to push because we had to decide and commit to Australia. Then we knew it was going to take 12 weeks to build Terra Nova, which was like they were literally finishing building it when we finally started shooting 12 weeks later. And then to do the visual effects that we're doing, whether it be the creature effects or some of the more futuristic effects, we're doing them in television and trying to set up a dynamic where they can be done in series, and there was a lot of R&D involved in that. And really when we got back, we wrapped, I think, December 18th or 19th, and we came back, and early January was like, I don't see how we're going to be done with all of these effects by that time, and it was just a logical choice. Let alone the dinosaurs. I mean, we're doing feathered dinosaurs. Dinosaurs with feathers, they're not doing that in features.
And our visual effects supervisor, Kevin Blank, who comes out of the J.J. Abrams camp and has done wonderful work for him, and he and his team have invented a new technology to do our dinosaurs, and in that they're doing motion capture dinosaurs, which have only been done with people before. So it looks kind of funny to watch guys in dinosaur suits walking around in front of a green screen, but it makes the animation more efficient and expedient. But it's a new technology that's never been used, so things didn't quite go as quickly as we'd hoped.
All right, let's open it up to you guys. We don't have a lot of time, but let's do that. Where is the microphone?
Right here.
Right here? Okay, so we're right in the middle here, guys.
Hi. I have a question for the writer of the show, Brandon Braga.
Correct.
You can call me Brandon.
Yeah, I have a question for you guys. Regarding the premise of Terra Nova, I've noticed something about Terra Nova. Okay, question. Yeah, it's regarding Terra Nova. Have you got an idea? Where do you get the ideas for Terra Nova? Because it sounds like as if part of the premise for Terra Nova sounds like it's been lived out of this one video game you probably never heard of called Dino Crisis 2. And I was wondering if you guys got any ideas from any video games and stuff from making Terra Nova.
Well, there's a great Pong sequence in the pilot. 'Cause that's about where I am in video games. Our inspiration, no, not really. That'd be a good question for our visual effects supervisor, whether or not he's seen something in video games that maybe inspired him visually. I don't know. Maybe Alex can answer that question. It's pretty much original material.
Yeah, there was nothing in the material inspired by video games. Because I have kids in my life, I was visually influenced by some video games for the world on the Cretaceous period side, in terms of Halo and even things like Appleseed and things like that. But the material was the material. It was really just a great idea.
All right, thanks for the question. Next question.
All right, this one's for Steven. What's it like to be both in a very groundbreaking movie, Avatar, and a very groundbreaking television show? And also, are you going to be receiving any facial scars this time around?
Well, it's thrilling to be, I love the idea of rolling the dice in a big way. Certainly with Avatar, it was taking a big shot. There was a lot invested in it, and it did well. And certainly when this script came to me, it was very clear when I read it that the scope of this project was quite vast. The idea of doing something of this magnitude on a weekly basis was very exciting. I knew it would be very challenging for all of us, for everyone involved. And I just want to be part of that because, you know, life is short. You might as well try and do big things, be part of big things if you can. And in terms of, so that's my reasoning there, I think. And in terms of scarring in this, you know, presumably we have a long future ahead of us, and I'm just a blank canvas waiting to be ripped apart.
Youngest person on the set, and why did you pick them?
Can you say the first
Not
part
you,
of that again?
Stephen.
Yeah. Can you say the first?
Who was the youngest person on the set? Who is the youngest person on the set, and why did you pick them?
All right, we got it.
Alana, who plays my daughter Zoe, how old are you?
9.
Yeah, she's your age. No, she's 8. And at 8, she was able to follow along with the read-through. She learned all her lines. She always stood on her marks and never fluffed one line. Can you believe it? Wow. She's awesome. You get to see her.
Wow.
That is it. All right, next question.
That's a tough act to follow, I tell you.
That's why they say no kids, no animals. Dinosaurs, even.
Both of which we have, yeah.
Do the characters grow more earth-friendly to their environment, being that they came from an environment that had been destroyed?
Well, they arrive that way, really. I mean, because of the example that Commander Taylor has set as the first person there, the whole thing has been designed to care for the planet, take care of the planet, live off of it. You know, everything's solar powered. They're recycling everything. Everything's built from recycled materials that are shipped through the portal in the rare portal openings. And then the weapons against the dinosaurs are sonic. They're trying not to kill anything, and because Taylor's mission is very much to protect Earth and to make sure everybody else is. And that's actually a very solid part of the story.
And the themes about getting things right this time, because we messed up the first time. This is a second chance for humanity, not only to do things right pragmatically, but on a more philosophical, humanistic level, trying to leave the aspects of humanity behind that led to the destruction of the earth, greed, ignorance, things like that.
Which makes things even tougher than they would be were you just there in order to conquer the environment. There you have a very clear task. If it moves, kill it. Here, that's not the concept. It's actually much more complex in a way. Go ahead.
Hi, this is for Jason. I really love you in Life on Mars. I thought it was really great. Especially the finale. I think they did a great job, but I wanted you to contrast that experience with your work in Terra Nova. I mean, it's a real different part, but you have to do pretend 70s, and I have to do pretend. And did you work in the Daintree?
Sorry?
Did you work also in the Daintree rainforest when you guys were up in Australia?
No.
No.
The Daintree.
Okay.
Well, obviously the main difference between the two characters is Sam Tyler is thrust into this situation that he finds himself, and he's desperately trying to find a way back home, whereas Jim Shannon is desperately trying to get to this situation and is basically just trying to stay alive and negotiate this new place. So right there is a huge difference in character and what they both want and need. But there's still a sense of being completely overwhelmed by your new environment. So I had been down that path before, but there isn't the same level of confusion and frustration. I think the confusion and frustration comes from a slightly more deeper emotional level, because what Jim Shannon wants is really for his family to thrive in this new world. And obviously